Welcome to the Daily Jerry Anderson podcast, where the playlist is already causing a problem between presenter and Coilus Interruptus. I like that band before you like that band. A playground fight will surely follow, an exchange of conkers. And of course, The Walls, I'm a big fan of theirs. I think they're undoubtedly one of the most talented bands in Ireland, and of course, consequently, will go nowhere. So, anything wrong with your headphones? You all right?
Well, I'm just happy that you like The Walls, because
Do you like them too?
Well, I discovered them and I gave you the album.
No, you didn't.
I'm surprised that you're playing it. Yes,
no, you
I
did not.
says there's a group.
I've been playing them for years.
I gave it to you.
When?
No, I would say
1948.
About 3 years ago or so, and they sent me a copy, and I
discovered them before that.
No, and I said to you, listen to this here. And you said, that's very good. Are you going to play it? And I said, I don't know. He says, well, if you're not going to play it, I'll take it. I'll play it. It's too good for you.
You know, there are listeners out there.
Me.
There are listeners out there who think that maybe perhaps 90% of this programme is made up of petty bickering. So let's not prove them right. Much talk in the yellow press about two pandas not having sex in a zoo in Edinburgh. From there, it's only a small step to tales of other unsuccessful couplings, of which we've been part of many. Have you been following the panda the phenomenon?
No.
Do you not know what's happening?
Where
a couple of pandas.
They want them to mate?
They do, and they seem to be hesitant.
Privacy.
They seem to be... apparently a man has been poking one of their tails with a bamboo.
All right.
You see, if somebody poked my tail with a bamboo, it would put me off, to be honest. Anyway, a gentleman writes to me on that very subject.
Were you ever involved in anything like that?
Mating pandas?
No, let me explain.
No, I've done many's a thing, but I've never mated with a panda, no.
No.
I would hate to see the result. It'd be a black and white minstrel.
A man once called for me.
Yes? Did he?
I was a friend of mine, right? Yeah. And he said to me...
How would you like to mate with something?
No, well, that's basically, he had a dog with him, and he said to me, he says, come on, Coyle, he says, I need you here for an hour or two. And he went away, and he had his dog on the lead, and we called to this other person's house, and we got their dog, and he handed me their dog. There's the dog, you see. So I had a dog, he had a dog, and we went away for a walk away into the country. And he says, I want the two bios here, the two dogs, to mate.
Yeah.
And he says, what? He says, that's the bitch that you have. You see.
Well, did you have like cigarettes with you and stuff like that?
And we walked and we talked and
you bought a brandy, maybe?
And I says, when does this happen? What
You were the wrong man to give that dog to.
Absolutely. He said, I have a spot picked out.
Is that what the name of the dog? Spot?
And we walked and walked. We came to this rather little secluded lane.
A little bower?
Right?
Yeah.
And he says, right, let her off, Coyle.
Right. So what did you unleash? I unleashed the hounds of hell?
Yes. And the two dogs, they did the usual, sniffing around one another. And then they started to go their own sort of direction. Not wander off or anything, but still stayed with us, In
other words, there was no sign of any how's your father.
Exactly.
And their mother wasn't working.
Exactly. And I said to my friend, I said, well, how long have we got to stay here? He says, until,
How's your father? Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. And it got very, very boring.
It would.
Very, very boring, because you kept looking at the wee dogs and you wondered, when, if ever.
Would you not have done something to maybe advance the procedure?
Well, I said to him, I said, maybe we should go away. We should walk down the end of the lane or something, leave
No, I was thinking something in terms of...
No.
Well, you did it with the bull.
No, nothing.
You've done it before. It's not something you haven't done before.
So we... nothing happened.
No.
And we hitched the dogs up again and took them home. But it's very embarrassing. It's very awkward even for a human.
You should have brought a couple of blindfolds and then the dogs would have been happy enough. It's because you're standing watching them. I mean, you'd be saying
we ever
yourself,
involved in that?
That's like me standing in your bedroom at night going, hey, what about you? Go ahead. Work away. Never mind me. A regular subject returns after an absence of weeks. The dreams of Mr. Coyle, today joined by the presenter's own nighttime experiences. I had a dream too.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was in Newry.
Yeah.
Aye. And I was walking from Newry to home.
Uh-huh.
It's a hell of a walk. Think about it.
That's a long walk.
Yeah.
Newry to Londonderry.
And I was walking.
Yes.
And car lights were dazzling me, and I didn't know where I was going, and my legs wouldn't work, and I didn't know if I was out in the middle of the road or where I was.
That's 100 miles, you know.
And I started to slow up, and I couldn't get walk, and I got very, very dizzy.
This is going to take long.
No. And I realised then I was walking towards a grass verge, and cars were coming at me in all directions, and I passed out.
And you woke up and there was President Kennedy lying dead beside you.
No, I did. When I did wake up, it was frightening. I didn't like it at all.
I dreamt I was in a restaurant, and across the restaurant, and just coming to me now that you mentioned the dream, and across the restaurant from me was Kylie Minogue and a man. And the man came over and talked to me. And I said, "Is that Kylie Minogue with you?" He says, "It's none of your business."
That's good. That was the right answer for you.
What kind of a dream is that?
I don't know.
And he kept talking to me for ages. He says, "I want to talk to Kylie." And he said, "No." And she kept looking over and smiling at me, and he wouldn't let me go over and talk to her. You know,
that's
I
the
think
man.
that kind of people, maybe those are the kind of people keep you back. Anyway, I noticed that lady giant pandas are only receptible to man giant pandas for 2 days of the year. Did you know that?
No.
2 days a year. You need to get in quick. Apparently this causes relationship problems, and that the lady panda often loses interest because a man panda is so inept in his boudoir technique due to lack of practice. There only been 2 days in the year when he can try things out. As a man who's been married for 30 years, I shall pass no further comment on this subject, except to say, I rest my case. May I recommend that the zookeepers chuck a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc into the lady panda's enclosure and open the cork. This should be the trick. Anyway, however, the man panda will have to put up with the lady panda singing ABBA songs. Day, day, day. Give me an ABBA song, right? I can't remember an ABBA song.
Does your mother know? No, that's too hard.
Too
Waterloo.
Waterloo. Anyway, she'll have to put up with the lady panda singing ABBA songs very badly with her mates before stumbling through the door at 3 a.m. and then demanding breakfast in bed at lunchtime the next day. But still worth waiting up for, eh? Know what I mean? Kind regards. That's David Attenborough writes to me. Once voted best bass guitarist in Ireland, according to Spotlight magazine, the presenter is called on to describe this journey as long as he stops talking before talkback starts. What happened was, you see, I was in a family.
Are you starting there, you?
I'm not starting there.
All right.
There's no need to call me sickly.
All right.
There's no need for that. In my house, my house is full of musicians. Now, all my friends outside the house were listening to The Shadows and various guitar kind of ventures and stuff like that. But I wasn't, because people were teaching me. I was listening to jazz, and there was a fella in my house. I don't want to name his name because he's still not going to. Because, people don't like being named on the radio.
Yes, they do.
Johnny McCollum was his name. Right. He was from Belfast. He married my cousin.
All right.
And he was a fine, fine guitar player. And him and I had a kind of rapport. And I had a little guitar, and he taught me all these things, all these jazz things, you see. Chords and various songs. And I was never listening. Everybody else was playing Apache.
If we were to phone him, would he confirm that?
He would confirm that, yes.
He would.
What do you always look for proof when I tell you anything?
Right,
as if I'm some kind of defendant.
Right.
Anyway, so...
Well, Judge Judy does that.
I know, but she's a judge. You're not. But the upshot of it was that when I kind of spent a couple of years in my bedroom learning all this stuff, and then I became interested in classical guitar. So what I used to do is I used to learn Bach. I learned how to read music, and I used to play Bach two-part inventions and stuff like that, work them all out. So between jazz and Bach, I was doing all this, and I thought everybody else was doing that. And then when I finally went out to the world, and was asked to join a band, everybody was all standing around playing Apache. And I said, what is this? What is this crap? So I'm telling you, I never fit it in.
Yeah.
So I could never do it.
We know that.
I never fit it in. So eventually what happened was, I couldn't be bothered with that. So what happened one time, I was sacked out of this band, and then I lost everything that I had, and I was destitute and all kinds of stuff. And somebody said to me, look, here's a job. As a bass guitar player, I know this band, they're looking for a bass guitar player, and he's got his own bass, and he's got their own amplifier and everything, and I was starving, I hadn't a penny.
Where was this?
Cookstown, a band called The Grafton.
How did you get from Derry to Cookstown?
Because I was in England and I was destitute over there. And I came back. I had to sell my guitar.
There's a lot of gaps here.
I know, but I don't want. I haven't got all day here.
I haven't got a lot of gaps.
I had to sell my guitar and had to sell my amplifier, but I was never happy being a guitar player.
What happened to the 14-year-old? What happened to
He became 17.
No, but he was 14 or 15.
No, he was in the bedroom for 3 years.
A van pulls up outside the door and the boy says, "Hey, come on, we heard you can play the guitar.
Yeah, that's
come
the start of it. That's when I came out of the house after playing all my classical stuff, my jazz stuff. And then I went on the stage and there was fellas in shiny suits singing Come Down from the Mountain, Katie Daly, and playing Apache.
And where did Joseph Locke fit in?
He didn't fit in.
He did.
He didn't fit in.
Well, who was it? Frank Connors. What do you call him?
Frank Carson.
Frank Carson.
That's before that. I can't tell you everything. I'm just giving you a career path here. And I want to talk to you later about your studies. How are your social anthropological studies getting on? Well, we have to move to stage 2 yet. I'll talk about that after. Anyway, all I'm saying is I was in my bedroom for 2 or 3 years and I thought everybody was like me. But then when I came out of my bedroom, a man knocked on the door and said, "Do you want to play in the band?" They were all playing shake, rattle and roll and stuff like that. I'm going, what is this crap? And I was very unhappy, and I played a wee bit, but I was no good at it because I wasn't interested in it. And then I went off to England, and then I was marooned and destitute and stuff. And
I'm
going
to ring your brother, Charlie.
And I came back. He'll tell you the truth. I came back, and then this fella said, "There's a fella down who's got a band." And I had no money at all. Like I wouldn't even get the brew. Do you imagine how bad that was? I couldn't even sign on because I'd been disappeared for years.
Wait a minute. Are you? Where are you now?
I'm here in Derry.
And you're starving.
I'm starving.
No,
I have no money. I'm not starving. I have no money. I'm sitting in the house looking at the window. My mother's feeding me, and she's good to me. But I have no career. I have nothing.
How did you get to Cookstown?
A man, give me a lift. You know, the fellow was a trumpet player. His name is Bobby Brown. He's Dana's brother.
And he was in your house.
I used to call him Dan.
Right.
He said about this. He was in this band in Cookstown called the Grafton Show Band. He said they're looking for a bass player. And I said, "But I'm not a bass player." He said, "Yeah, of course you can't." The also person needs to sing as well. So I was looking for a singing bass player. I said, "I'm neither of them." He said, "He's got a bass guitar and he's got an amplifier."
Who?
The fella who's the leader of the band, because the fella who was in the band before had no money and he had bought him a bass and an amplifier. And the fella had left, so it belonged to him. So I said to myself, I can do that because the bottom 4 strings in the bass guitar is the same as the bottom 4 strings in an ordinary guitar.
Right.
So I went up to Phillips Record Shop, which is no longer there in Shipkey Street, and I bought a music of a song by the Beats called "You Can't Do That," which is recorded by Henry McCullough, and I play it for sentimental reasons. So I worked out the bass thing, right? And then I worked out the song, and I started to sing it, and I practiced singing the song and playing the bass at the same time. And then I went up to this rehearsal, and the fellow said, "Well, there you are." He said, "Well, you sing?" I said, "Yeah, of course I do." He said, "What would you like to sing?" I said, "Well, let me see what, I want to pick something easy." Because, I said, "Do you know that song? It's very simple. By the Beatles, it's called 'You Can't Do That.' Do you know that? I can do that." So I sang that and played the bass, and the voice says, "Very good, you're in the band." And I went, hey presto, money at last. And then I got interested in the bass, and then I became a bass player, and I put all thoughts of playing guitar behind me because I didn't want to play Apache. I didn't want to play that. I didn't want to play Please, Please Me. I didn't want that. So the bass player, when you play the bass, everybody leaves you alone and nobody annoys you. And you're able to stand there and look at all the girls and nobody says that's a wrong note. And then I got interested in it, and then I became the best bass player in the whole world. The xylophone is the instrument of the day in Radio Ulster. Talk back of track down a teenage player, whilst Mr. Coyle insists on his own party game, identify the xylophonist. And that's not easy to say. The only person we know who plays the xylophone...
Well, we don't know him personally, but you might know him personally.
I don't think I know... I don't recall anyone playing the xylophone.
You must know someone who plays the xylophone. Come on.
I actually don't.
A very famous person.
Lionel Hampton was the famous xylophone player and jazz player in America.
Outside of that.
Outside? I don't know. Will you stop?
You do.
Look, will you stop this? Just tell me who it is.
Come on now. This person would do it as a party piece.
Just tell me who it is.
No, come on, guess.
Walter Love.
No.
Julian Simmons.
No, come on. No, bigger than that.
I don't know.
Come on.
Jackie Fullerton.
National TV.
I don't know.
You do.
Ken Dodd.
National TV.
Ken Dodd.
No, an elderly man.
An elderly man.
Older,
I don't know.
Older than Ken Dodd.
Nobody's older than Ken Dodd.
Exactly, that's why I say that. Come on.
Tell me.
No, go on,
I'm going to turn off your microphone if you don't tell me.
He's got a TV show.
Oh, right. Who is he?
The longest running TV show in the world.
On Titchmarsh?
No, come on.
Who?
Do you not know?
I know. Gay Byrne?
No.
Who? Will you tell me? Who is it?
The Starman. Stars at Night.
Who?
Thing. I can't remember his name.
You don't know his name, Patrick
Moore. Patrick Moore.
Oh, God, did that have to take so long? More animal shenanigans now. The whistling contingent are listening and learning. Sean, listen to this.
I'm listening to this.
This is up your
This is
alley.
what I was doing yesterday.
That's very good.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's very good.
Now, if you did that 3 times and put an extra note at the end, that was the mating call.
Go ahead.
And if I'm afraid the pigeons might have come through the window at me.
That's okay. Maybe Janet will jump on Sean. Well, do what you were saying.
But if you did that just 5 times in a row, then that was the territorial sort of claim. I suppose, as I said to Janet, it's a bit like maybe a dog lifting its leg at a lamppost.
Well, how did you guys work this out yourself?
Oh, well, as I say, as wee boys, like we used to, like obviously, like watch a lot of westerns and things, and that was like I was always one of the Indians, so we had that we were doing the Indian calls, you see, and then we found by accident that these birds started replying.
Do you know what I would like to do? Do you know the guys that stand in the corner now? These are the young guys that stand with the hoodies and drinking the vodka and sniffing the glue. Yeah. I'd love to go up and say to them, listen, can any of you guys do a pigeon's mating call? I would say the answer may be no.
I would say you might be right.
Peter, could you blow a tune then through?
Oh, aye.
See, Jerry's not familiar with this.
Care.
Could you do something, Peter?
Yeah, I'll try here.
Hold
on.
Just a wee blast. Will you hear this? This is what I'm talking about, Jerry.
Sorry,
almost happy birthday.
Yeah.
Well, that's very good. See, that's the thing that you couldn't do
What's
yet.
the clue, Peter?
Don't be getting so excited.
No, what's the technique, Peter? Right, you've got your 2 thumbs. Right, you blow it under your 2 thumbs. Isn't that right?
Yeah. Well, I know Janet was on about using a blade of grass. Now I was never able to use the grass.
No, neither could I.
No, but
I used to smoke it.
The thing is, and I'm sure I don't want to take us down a wrong avenue here, but it's the way you purse your lips.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Now, Janet's good at that.
Pucker up. So, and then depending on the depth of the note is how big the hollow in your hand is. You know, you can if you like, you're just sort of getting it's a bit like I suppose like a wind instrument. How much the air resonates inside your hand.
Stop doing that. You're getting spittle all in the microphone. People have to do this after you.
It sounds like a man taking an asthma attack.
Sounds like an obscene phone call. Stop doing that.
I'm trying to blow.
You can't do it. So, listen, man, go and ask that man to do that again.
Do the pigeon. Do the wood pigeon.
Wood pigeon, right?
Oh, you see.
What they do?
What you wouldn't give to be able to do that?
Yes, exactly.
You would give a king's ransom to be able to do that.
Well, right, Peter.
Yeah.
Right, I'll give you one now. Then.
Yeah. Thank you very kindly.
Janet, turn away. Right, go ahead.
Do you have to pucker up for this?
No, you don't. No, it's better if you don't.
All right.
Right, go ahead.
No, can you? Could you?
Will you do it?
No, I just want to ask Peter. Can he pull his?
Can he pull his what? Janet, talk to him. I'm going to have to turn the microphone off. What? Can he pull his what? Can he what? Will you straighten up? You're broadcasting here. Come on, what?
Can he pull his bottom?
Can you pull your bottom lip over your head? Is that what you're trying to say?
A muscle. No, that one without putting your fingers in your mouth.
Aye.
Can you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, go on. That's good. That's me back to you. Anderson can't do that.
Oh, can he not? Right.
No.
It's all the way you use your lips, you see.
Absolutely.
I can't do any of that stuff.
All right.
And I'm pleased to say that Janet can't either. Thank you for listening. I shall indeed be back tomorrow.